Hey there, my darlings! How are you? I hope that you are doing amazing. It's DarlingDTarot bringing you another pick-a-card reading. So for today, we are going to be getting right into this and asking the question, what do your exes think about you? This will be going over how they describe you to other people, what sort of energies they miss about you, and what they like about you overall. So this doesn't have to just be about one ex in particular, I was going to say in specific, but it can just be overall, every ex that you've had, right? Just kind of the main consensus about sort of how you are as a person and what sort of energies they really love about you. So we have three beautiful piles here. We have stack 1, stack 2, and stack 3. So you can choose based off of the energy of the pile, the number of the pile, or the item in front of the pile. Today we are doing bottle caps. Woohoo! I love bottle caps. Oh my goodness. So for this first one, we have this really awesome gold and brown and black and white. And then for this one, for stack 2, we have this sort of devil holding a mug. And then for stack 3, we have this beautiful swirly with a red star on it. It's kind of like gold and black and red. So whichever bottle cap you feel most drawn to. So I will give you a few seconds to choose. But first, let's take a deep breath in. Let's hold it. And release. And with that, I will give you a few seconds to choose, and I will see you at your choice. Bye! Hello to everyone who picked stack 1. Let's get right into your reading and see what do your exes think of you. So starting off with your first card, this is going to be your Druid Animal Oracle card, and this is talking about your overall energy in their eyes, how they see you. So starting us off, we have Hind. Woohoo! So this is a really awesome card because whether you are male or female, when you pick this pile, this still talks about the fact that you are someone who is very graceful, someone who is very nurturing, someone who is very compassionate, caring, kind, charismatic as well. You are someone who thinks outside of the box. You are someone who is very open-hearted as well. You definitely don't close yourself off to other people, and you're very spiritual, very intuitive, very much in tune with your own needs and with your own heart and desires as well. I think that you're very much kind of aligned with yourself, aligned in your chakras. You're very balanced. Oh my goodness, there we go. You're in equilibrium with yourself. But like I was saying, you're very subtle at times though too. You have kind of that mothering energy, especially if you are male or female, it does not matter. But you are still very gentle. You handle people as if they were your family or as if they were your own. You know, you love everyone, and I think that that's something that they can really respect about you, as well as the fact that you are so nurturing. They really miss how caring and open you were as well, because I think that you're the type of person who would really want to talk out a problem. You know, you're going to go forward and say, hey, this is what is worrying me. This is what has kind of been on my mind lately, and I want to share it with you, because you see honesty as the best policy, right? It's kind of like that Drake Bell song, At Least I'm Honest, At Least I'm Honest. Do you guys love Drake Bell? I honestly do. Okay, so we're gonna get back to it though. But honestly, you guys have that gentleness, that sensitivity to the other realms as well, because hinds and stags are very much kind of, they go hand in hand together, but in different ways. It's almost like the divine masculine and the divine feminine, right? Because the divine feminine would be this hind here. She's someone who can tap into the intuitive. She is someone who can tap into her feelings and into that inner knowingness. While the stag is very much, he's just gonna go head on onto his goals, onto his dreams, without kind of ruminating on it, without kind of thinking about what it is that he wants wants to pursue as well. Whereas you're the type of person who is really going to blueprint. You're going to plan as well. But I also want to say that you're the type of person that other people will really go to for advice, right? You're the type of person who gives really bomb advice. Oh my goodness. You might be like, hey, this is what you need to do with this person. Do this, this, and this, and you'll be fine. You might be the type of person who everyone goes to for relationship problems as well. And especially your exes. Your exes were probably like, oh my goodness, this is what's been going on with me. And you would come up with an amazing solution because you have a way with words as well. And also another thing that I want to bring up for those that pick this pile is your exes really loved how open you were, not only with your words, but also with your body language. You weren't that type of person who was going to hide yourself or kind of go into that defensive mode. You were very open to everyone, to everything, and to every experience as well. You're the type of person who would kind of be open to experiencing anything once, at least once, right? And they love that about you. They love that you were able to kind of step out of your comfort zone for them as well, while remaining very regal, very royal, if you will. But going on to your next two cards, these are going to be your messenger oracle cards, and these are talking about how they are feeling about you and also how they think about you in general as well. So we have number 10, embrace the feminine. Look, another card that's talking about femininity. Look at that, caring, nurturing, supplying love. But that's really, really awesome, almost like a love manufacturer, if you will. But also number 32, protect the wild and green. So that's really interesting. We have 3 cards that are all very much focused on green. Do you see that? How in this card it's so lush, and also in these two as well. So they see you as someone who is very connected with Mother Nature, and especially with the earth in general. You might be the type of person who maybe takes your shoes off and you like walking on the ground. You like kind of grounding your feet into the earth itself. You're also the type of person who you might have a really good green thumb about you, and you have a really awesome way with animals as well. You do really good with beings and kind of objects as well that can't necessarily take care of themselves. I mention objects because I feel like you take really good care of your possessions. And that's another thing that they really love about you. You're not the type of person who is going to squander something that was given to you, especially by the universe, right? Because you see everything as a divine blessing and as a gift as well. You are so grateful. You are so thankful for everything that steps into your life. And that's another quality that they absolutely loved about you. They could have potentially seen you as like the mother or father of their children, someone who could definitely bring home the bacon as well. Because do you see this woman in Embrace the Feminine? Not only is she pregnant and she's holding a literal dragon's egg, right? So she is both producing her own baby in her stomach, like making that. She's working hard, but she's also balanced because she's this tree, but she also has a dragon egg. So it's like, I have my own goals. I can do these things outside of my home and my family. I can do these things outside of my pregnancy and not have to just be grounded in one area of my life. But regardless, you are in equilibrium with yourself. You're very knowledgeable. And it's almost like those who pick this pile, you are empathetic, right? You are definite empaths. You guys can kind of pick up on energies. You can read a room really, really well, which is probably why you do so good with plants, because you can just automatically know what someone needs just looking at them. It's almost like a flash. Maybe for some of you, it's just an instantaneous knowing. For others of you, you might see pictures in your mind and be like, oh, this is what they need. Like you might even name all your plants like, oh, this one's Herman, this one's Shrek. Like you could name all of them, right? And honestly, you have so much fun. You have almost that childhood wonder about you, because that's another aspect of the feminine, is the fact that not only does she nurture her children, she raises them, but it's because she can also tap into what it was like to be that childhood innocence as well when she's connecting with her child. And vice versa. I feel like those that pick this stack are very good with children as well. I feel like you guys are a catch. Like, your exes might be feeling like, oh my goodness, what have I done, right? Because we have a number 10 here. They see you as the end of a cycle. They see you as someone who, could be that wish fulfillment, someone who they could potentially marry, right? But something happened here. Maybe they even felt like for some of you, you were too good for them. Maybe that was their way of getting out of the relationship, is saying, you're just way too good for me, and I don't feel confident enough to be next to you, because you are someone who is almost like this incredible god or goddess, and I'm just kind of like just this rooster that's standing next to you crowing away all day, just like, woo, you know, and you're over here just being so beautiful. And honestly, that's how they feel. I don't know why I picked a rooster, but I don't know. I felt very drawn to that. But also I want to say that with this sword, remember how we were talking about that you're the type of person who is going to come forward with your problems and say, hey, this is what's bothering me. This is what's really kind of plaguing my mind as well. That's why we have that sword there, because you cut through the drama. You cut through any of that. And you're the type of person who's going to say, hey, if this situation doesn't serve me, if these people don't serve me, I am going to leave this situation. I am going to leave the relationship. I'll even leave platonic friends behind, just because if you're going to be rude to me, if you're not going to respect me, if you're not going to give me the dignity that I deserve as this divine being, as someone who can create, as someone who can also provide for not only myself, but for others too, you're not going to put up with that. You know your worth. And maybe that was a little bit intimidating for them, because the number 32 would be the number 5, right? So it'd be a little bit of a change to find someone who is so in the knowing of what it is that they want to accomplish, so in the know about what it is that makes their soul sing as well, when they themselves are just starting out at the beginning. Maybe you kind of like, I don't want to say you attract people who aren't necessarily on the same like wavelength as you or the same like level, because it's not that at all. It's just that you're kind of a little bit more mature than other people. So maybe you attract people who are a little bit more adventurous, or like not necessarily adventurous, but they don't want to settle down right away. Think of Wands energy. Well, this is all earth here. This is stability. This is building firm foundations. Ooh, I can't talk. But this is having everything and then some, being abundant, working with the law of attraction, working with the earth as well. This is earth magic. I feel like for some of you as well, you might work with candle magic when you work with the law of attraction, which is so cool. Oh my goodness. But you're very, very wise, because we have a lot of that reptile sort of an inspiration going on here. And that's what I think of when I think of reptiles. I think of wisdom. I think of being wise beyond your years, but also being able to blend into a situation. You're someone who is very charismatic, but you're also someone who at times, you know when to be a wallflower, you know when to just kind of leave people be and go along your way, right? So I think that is so, so awesome that you are someone who is so compassionate and open and caring. Woohoo! So let's go on to your next 3 cards. These are going to be your Secrets of the Mystic Grove cards, and these are talking about an energy that your exes love the absolute most about you. So we have number 3, Ask, number 19, Secrets, and number 22, Beauty. Okay, so here's the deal. I feel like we keep talking about, you know, the fact that you are someone who's very straightforward, the fact that you are someone who, if you hear something, maybe someone's been saying secrets, maybe someone kind of told you something, or someone was trying to cause drama, you're the type of person who's going to go right to the source and say, hey, did you say that about me? Did you say you didn't like the peanut butter and jelly sandwich that I made you last week, that I took all the crust off of and I shaped it into the form of a flower for you? You know, and they look shook. They're like, what? No, I love that, right? But it's really awesome, the fact that you can come forward to people and you can say, hey, is this true? Is this, without making assumptions, without jumping to a conclusion that fits kind of your narrative, I suppose you can say, because some people can be looking for a fight, right? They can kind of be trying to start Fight Club. And that's what your exes really, really love about you, is that you're someone who's very peaceful. You're someone who doesn't want to deal with it, because you have your own goals and your own dreams that you really want to achieve. But with this card, you know, not only is the number 3 talking about harmony, but it also says launch, soar, and request. So it's almost like the exes that were in your life really see you as someone who has a lot of potential, someone who is really going to go very, very far in life as well. And maybe they even feel like, hey, you know, I should have kind of learned a little bit more about you as well. For some of you, I feel like a select few of you, your exes are like, why didn't I take the time to learn more about this person? You know, because they are someone who is so intricate, someone who is small but mighty, right? Because we have all of these creatures and they're so small, but they're so tough too. But with number 19, Secrets, this would be another 10. Wow. Whisper, confidences, and sharing. You are also someone who is very open-hearted, to where you can wear your heart on your sleeve. You can tell people how you're feeling and kind of what's going on in your mind and what's going on in your heart as well. And I think that is so, so beautiful. The fact that you are so open to sharing. And with sharing, it's not only just secrets. I feel like you're the type of person who is going to share food. You're the type of person who will also share your clothes, really anything. If someone needs something, you are going to be there and you're going to be offering a helping hand. And lastly, we have 22, beauty, radiance, self-esteem, and strength. So they loved how strong you were. They loved how beautiful, how handsome, how incredible you are, right? Especially how radiant, because it was almost like you could walk into a room and the whole room would stop. Even if you didn't necessarily notice that, your exes certainly did. You know, they certainly felt their hearts stop when they looked at you and they were like, whoa, hubba, right? But with number 22, beauty, this is again talking about firm foundations, solid foundations, being able to start something that is really going to last you for a long time as well. And with self-esteem, this goes right back to knowing your worth. They find that very, very attractive in you, in knowing that you're worthy of love, knowing that you're worthy of being abundant, you're worth your weight in gold and then some, right? Because you are someone who has a lot to share with the rest of the world. You are someone who has a lot of knowledge as well. And they really admire that. They really admire how well read you are, someone who studies a lot, I feel like, for some of you. But for the most part, you know, I feel like they really miss the fact that you were their best friend as well. Because with confidences, it really makes me feel like you are someone that your exes could always turn to, like no matter what. It could be 3 a.m. in the morning and they'll call you and you'll stay on the phone with them until the sun comes up, right? It doesn't matter to you because you love them. You just see that as your obligation. That's something that you have to do when you love someone. And that was something that they really, really loved about you. So going on to your next 4 cards, these are going to be your Ludi Leska cards, and these are talking about what they miss the most about you. So we have the Judgment card in reverse, the Sun in reverse, the Empress, and the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so starting off, like right off the bat, with the Judgment card in reverse, it's almost like they don't see you as someone who is very judgmental. They don't see you as someone who is vengeful either, someone who isn't spiteful at all, right? You're not the type of person who's going to be like, I'll get even with you, and then write a whole country album about it, and then send it to their door, ship it, FedEx it to them, and be like, hey, I autographed that, it's just for you, and you make it to the iTunes billboards. It's not like that. You're not that type of person. Although you could be, they see you that you could be, but you're someone who is very respectful. You're someone who really respects boundaries as well, so you're not going to put either of you in a circumstance that really makes either of you feel uncomfortable. But also with the Sun, they miss the fact that you were their sunshine. You were someone who brought a lot of joy and happiness into their life. When I think of the Sun, I think of childhood happiness as well, being able to remember that childhood innocence and being able to hang out just as friends as well. Maybe it was a little bit of a shock when you guys would break up, or if you kind of walked away from these relationships, or vice versa. Maybe it was a little bit of a shock, like, you know, this person should have been a lot maybe worse to me because I wasn't the nicest to them. That'll only apply for some of you. But for the most part, they really just miss your positive disposition towards the world as well. They miss the fact that you aren't going to judge them or like make fun of their socks, right? Because maybe they wear like mismatched socks all the time. And for some reason, some people were like, Brandon, what are you doing? Why are you wearing a purple sock with a green sock? But for you, that didn't matter. Those little things didn't matter to you. Why? Because we have the Empress. You are someone who is very confident. You're someone who is very sure of yourself, very secure in your own skin as well, very comfortable. You receive a lot of messages as well, you know, and they miss that. They miss kind of sending you messages, receiving messages, calling you. They just miss your voice overall. And do you see how she's kind of looking away? It's because she knows her worth and she's not going to put up with messages that don't hold any kind of good information for her, right? If it's something that isn't going to serve her, why would she waste her time on it? Or rather, invest her time on it. There we go. That's a better way of putting it, because she is self-reliant, right, with all of this big cat energy, and she's very abundant. The Empress is also every queen morphed into one. You know, she has mastered every aspect, every suit, you know, every kind of point of view of herself as well. She has mastered that, and she has emerged victorious. She sits on her throne feeling confident, feeling good, and feeling like, hey, I have all the power in the world. But with the Six of Pentacles as well, they see you as someone who's very giving, someone who is very compassionate as well. You probably give to charities a lot. You might be the type of person who maybe you volunteer your time as well. But regardless, they see you as someone who constantly wants to help others, especially children. Oh my goodness. They really love how caring you are and how open. I know I keep saying that, but honestly, that's what they're saying the most. It's just kind of like, you're so caring, you're so nurturing. You take care of others even when you aren't obligated to, even when you're not supposed to, even when people have treated you badly in the past. Now, you're not going to entertain them for the long run, but if they need your help, maybe moving for the last time or something along those lines, you will definitely put in that elbow grease and help people. You will go out there and make sure that everyone's doing good, everyone's being happy, because in the past, the Empress, it's taken a long time for her to be someone who is woke, I suppose you could say. Someone who is fully aware about what it is that she wants to accomplish and go towards. And I feel like with it taking a little bit of time, with having to have that patience in growing into what it is that you, who it is that you want to be, there we go. You really know what it is that would make you sad, would make you feel upset as well. So you don't do that to other people. And that's why they're saying you're not vengeful, because you know what it's like to hurt. You know what it's like to go through uncomfortable times as well in order to get to that happy time, go through the rain in order to get to the rainbow, right? But going on to your next 6 cards, these are going to be your Witches Tarot cards, and these are going to be going over more on what your exes liked about you. So we have the Three of Wands. Okay, oh my goodness, the Empress again. Look at that. Whoa. I'm going to actually put them together. It's like they really loved how feminine you were, regardless of if you're male or female. I'm just putting that out there. You are someone who is very sensitive. You are someone who is very knowledgeable about not only others' emotions, but also yourself. And that's a really big deal, right? That makes you marriage material. That makes you kind of like the one that got away in their eyes. You're that Katy Perry song, the one that got away. I made that last part up. That was ad-libbing, but we tried. So we also have the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. Oh my goodness, with the Page of Cups in reverse. Okay, so starting back up with the Three of Wands, they see you as someone who is very well planned, someone who is making those blueprints, someone who's waiting for their ships to come in as well. It's almost like you're very expectant of kind of good things and abundance to come into your life, and that's a really wonderful way to be. And why are you that way? Because you are the Empress, my friend. Oh my goodness. To be this confident in yourself and so secure, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go towards my goals, I'm gonna go towards my passions, I'm gonna go towards my dreams. You might be an entrepreneur, those that pick this first pile. Maybe you guys are really wanting to go out there and really kind of hit it big on your own and not have to rely on other people, and they really appreciate that about you. The fact that you are confident enough to put yourself out there and to create something new. Now, this doesn't have to just be a baby. There are a lot of pregnant themes in this reading as well. Look at this. Look at all this pregnancy. So it could be that for some of you, your exes really wanted to have a baby with you. They wanted to have that sort of a family bond, but they felt like, maybe I didn't measure up, or maybe it just wasn't going to be good enough. It just wasn't going to work either. But regardless of whatever that might be, we have the Four of Wands here. So it's definitely saying you were marriage material. You are someone that anyone would be very happy about settling down with, someone you can go to celebrations with as well. You're the type of person who they'll take home to their family on Christmas. They'll take to the baby showers, the weddings, all of the big events, the birthday parties, and it's because you are such a life of a party. You are someone who can also understand other people in a way. I know I keep saying that, but honestly, you have such a way with people. And also the song, I Like the Way You Move. As for some of you, you might be dancers. You might always be dancing, always be singing, always be kind of the life of the party. And they really miss that about you. They really miss the fact that there is no one like you that they can find ever again, because you are very unique. You are one of a kind. And that's why you're so secure in yourself. You're just kind of drinking out of your own cup, enjoying your day, being in that self-sufficient energy, because you see everyone in your life as an added bonus, because you are someone who is very self-sufficient, self-sufficient, someone who is going towards her goals or his goals, you know, without having to worry about it. With that stability, you're someone who is very emotionally stable, and also very stable when it comes to money as well. You know what it is that you want to go towards as far as career, and you're not going to settle for small offers. And that's another thing that they really love about you. They really, really love is that you don't settle for this kind of small potatoes offer. You're going to take something that is going to be a lot more mature, something that's going to match your level. So we have a lot of queen energy. So this is definite divine feminine energy. So we would need a divine masculine energy as well to kind of even you out. But again, you know, we have a lot of themes of nature outside. So I feel like they really miss just going out on adventures with you. For some of you, just going out on drives, right? Going out on drives, going to the beach, going on a picnic, maybe going camping, whatever that might be. They really miss you. They really miss interacting with you and kind of telling their feelings to you as well, saying, hey, I had kind of a bad day. Because you're a wonderful listener. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's almost like you're the type of person who, if someone isn't going to offer you something good enough, you're going to just drink that cup of love yourself. You're going to turn that cup of love inwards and give that to yourself. And that's how you reach this kind of empress energy in everyone else's eyes. See, you're not the type of person who has to scorn other people. This is going back to that judgment card. You know, you're not the type of person who has to scorn other people because you know that your abundance is already set in stone. That's something that the universe is going to provide. So if other people feel insecure enough to start drama, if they feel insecure enough to kind of say rude things about you as well, that's none of your business. That's pretty much how you feel about the situation. Is if you're going to be rude to me, if you're going to be mean to me or say things about my appearance, you know, that's not anything that I have to put up with anyway. I don't have to listen to that, and it's just not any of my business. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. But honestly, you are someone who is very strong and very strong-willed and determined. Oh my goodness. But going on to your next 4 cards, these are going to be your Glow Glow Tarot cards, and these are talking about how your exes would describe you to other people. So we have the 7 of Pentacles in reverse, followed by the Sun. There it is. Again, another 10, by the way. And then we also have the 2 of Cups with the Magician. Okay, so for sure, some of you are definitely entrepreneurs. Some of you are definitely kind of making your own way. Maybe some of you are bloggers, are vloggers even. Maybe you're YouTubers. But regardless of whatever that might be, you might even be an influencer, because I see the Magician sometimes as a little bit of an influencer. He's maybe like, I don't know, maybe he's a Shay Dawson type. But anyway, you know, whatever this might be, they see you as someone who can definitely bring in that abundance, bring in that happiness as well. You have all of the resources that you could ever potentially need. You have that green thumb about you, right? You are someone who can definitely bring in a lot of blessings and a lot of happiness because you are so passionate about whatever it is that you're achieving and going towards. And that's how they describe you to people, and even to like the people that are really close to them. They'll be like, oh yeah, this person is someone who, you know, they don't need me. Maybe they feel a little bit intimidated because they're like, they don't need me in their life, especially when it comes to bringing in money. You're someone who can pay your own bills, you pay your own rent, that sort of a feeling. You can buy your own luxuries in life. You can buy your own meals and your own dinners and your own Avengers tickets, whatever that might be. You can afford to get that yourself. But you know, they see you as someone who is that ray of sunshine, someone who is very almost childish, right? Very excitable, very honest as well, very truthful, very sweet, very optimistic as well. But they see you as someone who maybe you guys just didn't mesh together right. Maybe there was a little bit of an imbalance, and it might even be because they didn't feel like they could equal up to you, or they could level up to you, or, you know, or they could be on par with you. There we go. Because something was out of balance here. It wasn't that there wasn't love, because we have a lot of admiration in this pile. We have a lot of wonderful energies as well, but maybe it was just that they couldn't seem to get onto your vibration as well. Because with the sun energy is Leo energy. So sometimes it could be a little bit in your face, but in a totally good way, right? And maybe that was just a little bit too much for them. They had to take a step back so that they themselves could get into this magician energy. But with With the Magician, you are someone who inspires them and still continues to inspire them. Even if you're like way out of the picture of their life, you are someone that they think about from time to time, and they're like, I wonder how they're doing, because you made them actually take a hard look at themselves in the mirror and want to better themselves, you know, want to take that next step, that next level. And honestly, you know, it's like they're realizing that you're someone who had all of the resources. You've never needed anyone, right? But honestly, going on to your next card, because that was really straightforward. It's like, this person was my happiness. This person is someone who is so sweet, so caring, so kind, but it didn't work out. You know, so it's like they don't even throw any shade. Maybe there's a little bit of shade being thrown here with the Seven of Pentacles, but I feel like it was on their side. Like, I didn't put enough work in. I didn't put enough effort in, as opposed to this person who was so open. Do you see this body language of this baby? It's just like openness, you know, accepting, like a hug. There we go. Because do you see this Magician energy? You could go up and hug him too, because he's open. This feminine energy, she's almost open. She just needs to lift her arm up a little bit. But honestly, that open energy, very open. So maybe it was your partner who was a little bit closed off, or your exes who were a little bit closed off in the past. You know, and that's what they tell people is, I wish that I could go back. What are the lyrics? I wish all this money could buy me a time machine. I think it was that. But honestly, that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from them, is that they wish that they could just kind of go back in time and fix things. But they know even then that there's something better that's meant for them, and something that's way better that's meant for you. You know? And I don't mean that in a rude way, but that's how they felt. Like, maybe for some of your exes, they felt like they could just never measure up. It was this feeling of feeling inadequate. Especially with someone who's so perfect, like that song, she's so high above me. She's so lovely, right? And that's regardless of if you are a male or female. Like, you guys are so lovely. Oh my goodness. But going on to your next card, this is going to be your animal totem card, and this is talking about your overall energy, how they see you. Oh my goodness. We got the sun again. Are you kidding me? Are you guys Leos? Do you guys have some Leo in your chart? You don't have to be, but they see you as someone who is very boisterous, someone who is very charismatic, someone who can definitely get other people out of their shell as well and get them incorporated into any situation or any event. And they really love and respect that about you. Maybe you kind of go towards people who are a little bit shy because you kind of balance them out in that aspect as well. But for the most part, with the sun energy, this is saying they see you as someone who is still very wonderful. There's no hard feelings here with you, between you and your exes. They see you as someone who is very loving, someone who is very kind, someone who is very nurturing, and yeah, just very compassionate, someone who's very meditative as well. You're very enlightened. You're someone who, when you get signs, you're not the type of person who's going to ignore them, is kind of what I'm feeling here. But you're also the type of person who, with this lemur energy, nothing is just kind of black or white, nothing is wrong or right, you know? Everything has that sort of gray area in between. Everyone has two sides of a story, right? And that's what they absolutely adore about you too, is that you are so fair. You know, you are willing to expand your horizons for other people and expand your knowledge. And they find that really admirable. But going on to your last card, this is going to be overall an energy on, you know, how your exes feel about you. And we have the 10 of Hearts. Oh my goodness, this is the 10 of Cups in traditional tarot. And this is basically saying that they saw you as the one who got away. They saw you as someone who was a catch, someone who they could have gotten married to, someone they could have had children with. They could have had that sentimental life as well. But maybe they just feel like they couldn't have brought that to the table as much as you could have for them. Maybe they just feel like they couldn't have made you as happy in the long run or in the long haul, right? But regardless, with the 10 of Hearts, this is saying this is someone that I would have liked to settle down with, someone I would have loved to end my cycle with as well. So how beautiful is that, that your exes see you as someone who is so abundant and someone who is so loving as well. Woohoo! Congratulations, Stack 1. oh my goodness, this was an awesome pile. What a wonderful reading to start out with too. But you guys are so upbeat and so wonderful. So make sure to stay in that energy because they absolutely love that about you. They don't want you to ever change. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this stack one. Make sure to let me know in the comments down below if it resonated, and also leave a like if you enjoyed this. Also hit subscribe if you have not already, and the little bell icon next to that to be notified anytime that I upload a new video. And yeah, all of my links are in my description box down below, like my Etsy for personal readings in case you wanted one, and also my PayPal and my Patreon. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye! Hello to everyone who picked stack 2. Let's get right into your reading and see what do your exes think of you. So starting off with your first card, this is going to be your Druid Animal Oracle card, and this is talking about how your exes see you, like overall in their eyes. What sort of energy do you have? So we have dog, woohoo! So this is a really, really awesome energy to have starting us off, because this talks about the fact that they see you as someone who is very loyal, someone who is very compassionate, someone who can stand on their own 2 feet or their own 4 feet, right? You can take care of business. You have created yourself a firm foundation to stand upon, but that's because you have went towards your own healing. You have been through a lot of situations in the past that might have been very hard. Maybe for some of you, you have had to deal with health problems. For others of you, you might not have been blessed with as many kind of possibilities as other people have. Like, I suppose you can say other people might have been kind of raised with a silver spoon in their mouth, and maybe you were just kind of like kind of roughing it, like kind of Lady and the Tramp vibes, right? So you have a lot of street smarts, you have a lot of wisdom as well. Just overall, you're someone who is very, very intelligent, but on the kind of lines of street smarts, you're someone who can trust their gut instinct, right? You trust that right off the bat, and they find that really admirable because you made really, really good decisions, and you still do. You're still making good decisions, even if there's times where you're like, oh my goodness, what have I done? I've really flarped up now, you know, and people are just like, no, you're fine. Like, you're doing great. I wouldn't even thought to have done this for kind of an outcome to this problem, you know, and so on and so forth. But they have a lot of appreciation for you because they see you as someone who is a good judge of character. You know when someone has not so good intentions towards you. You know when someone is coming towards you with kind of negative energy in their heart, I suppose you can even say. You are someone who is kind of empathetic, I suppose, also. You are someone who can definitely pick up on different energies. You can read a room very well, but you also really appreciate a slow burning romance. You want to have a romance that is going to start out as friendship first and then develop into something that is more beautiful. But you want it to develop organically. You don't want it to be manipulated. You don't want the situation to kind of, yeah, just being manipulated. You don't want it to be forced to go faster than it should, because you want to make sure that this is someone that will really mesh with you, right? Because with that energy of being near the water, I feel like you also understand the importance of, you can lead someone to the water as well, but you can't necessarily make them drink from it, right? They have to also be wanting to drink. They have to be thirsty as well. And sometimes, you know, you just kind of realize, hey, I can't bring everyone to the water. I can't change everyone. And you don't want to change anyone. You just kind of want everyone to become enlightened. You want everyone to stand on their own 2 feet and to feel strong as well, because you are that leadership position, right? You are someone who people look up to. You are someone who people feel very inspired by as well. Dog energy is very, very compassionate. They are our best friends. They are someone that we would want to do everything with, right? So I feel like that's also how your exes saw you, was that they could call you up for anything. Like if they were going to a concert, maybe they would call you up and be like, hey, Jenny, go to this concert with me. It's Blink 182, right? I don't know, but whatever that might be, they were always asking you out to go on to things with them, you know, go on maybe even cruises, vacations, trips, like I said, concerts, maybe even festivals as well. But whatever it was, they saw you as someone who was very, very fun, someone who was the life of the party at times as well, even though you yourself might not see yourself as that, because this dog, he looks very dignified. He looks almost, I don't want to say standoffish, but he definitely looks very regal. He looks very proud, and he feels like, I'll just allow allow anyone to come up to me. I don't have to be kind of overtly in your face, right? And I think that's also something that they really appreciate about you, is that you bring the fun, but you also know when to be serious. You know when to go all or nothing, and also when to hold back a little bit as well. Woohoo! So that's a really, really awesome card to start out with. So going on to your next two cards, these are going to be your Messenger Oracle cards, and these are going to be going over how they feel about you and what sort of things they think about you as well. So we have number 2, be patient, and number 17, heed your dreams. Okay, so these are really, really awesome cards right off the bat. But with number 2, be patient, this is really saying that you are someone who is in equilibrium with yourself. You are someone who is very balanced. Remember how I was saying that you are someone who can stand on your own 2 feet or 4 feet, because we have 4 again here. But they see you as someone who can definitely really, really relate to animals as well. They see you as someone who's very intuitive, someone who's very spiritual, someone who's pretty much out of this world, right? Kind of otherworldly. You have this uncatchable vibe. It's almost like you're a very rare Pokemon and they don't know how to catch you, and they're just like, what do I do here? And they're at such a loss. But you are someone who is very patient. You have a very, very good work ethic about you as well. You know, I feel like you work really, really good with others. You're really good at teamwork, because dogs are really, really wonderful in packs. They're pack animals, right? So you love, 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 love to have a good group of people around you. You know, now this isn't saying that you don't need time for yourself, which is why this dog is standing by itself by the water, because now is its time to reflect. Now is its time to heal itself as well, after being in the public eye, after kind of being the go-to friend and the person that everyone goes to have a good time, right? He needs that time as well to just sort of chill out and go with the flow. And also, they think that you're so awesome. You know, you're not the type of person who is going to get frustrated over little things, like maybe your exes in the past have, and you really taught them how to be patient as well, and that was something that they've really appreciated about you. They might also tell that to other people. You know, if they were talking to their friends, they might be like, hey, this person was really, really patient. You know, if they were opening a jar of pickles or something and they couldn't quite get it open, they might be like, wow, Jessica wouldn't have gotten frustrated at this like I'm getting frustrated at this. It's that sort of an energy, but they admire you so much that they can't help but think about, wow, I want to be more patient like that. I want to be someone who, you know, is going to allow myself to take that sit out, I suppose you could say, so that I can come back full force and full of energy as well. Because do you see how it's like a dark blue at the bottom, and then at the top it's this really, really bright yellow? It's almost like he's recharging like a battery, and the longer he sits here, the more he recharges to this golden color. So that's what you have to do from time to time, but that's why you are so patient, because they see you as someone who maybe meditates, maybe you're someone who practices mindfulness as well. You practice being very present and in the moment too, which they really, really love and appreciate. But we also, with number 17, heed your dreams. They see you as someone who is very dedicated to your own goals, to your own opportunities, to the things that you can bring into fruition as well. They see you as someone who is bringing in your manifestations with the number 8, but they also see you as someone who is unconditionally loving at times. Maybe they see you as also someone who could be an entrepreneur, you know, someone who could definitely strike out on their own and hit it big, but they definitely see you as someone who has all of the resources to be able to achieve their dreams, to be able to go towards the things that they want as well. They see you as both the night and the day, which is probably why we have the number 2 here. We have that balance. We have the masculine with the feminine, the intuitive with the analytical. We have the feeling, you know, with the analytical as well, which they absolutely loved about you. You saw every side to every story, and they love that. You know, they love that things weren't just black and white with you. There was a gray area. You know, it wasn't just a yellow and a dark blue. It was a purple and a pink and an orange and, you know, a gray and a lilac. You know, there are so many different kind of aspects, and that's what you've really opened their eyes to as well. You've really taught them to look at the bigger picture and look at the bigger perspective collective here, right? And that is so, so beautiful. So going on to your next 3 cards, these are going to be energy that they love the absolute most about you. So we have number 9, togetherness, number 20, look ahead, and number 42, directions. Okay, so with the number 9, togetherness, it says loyalty, fellowship, and bonding. So it goes right back to that dog energy of loving to be near people, loving to be in a pack, loving to be with like-minded individuals as well. Now, this doesn't even have to be, like I said, maybe you're someone who just loves being with other animals, you just love being with all kinds of different animals. Maybe you just kind of love being with a bunch of people. Maybe you enjoy hanging out with bugs. Maybe you collect bugs, right? But whatever it is, you love that togetherness. You love being able to experience that energy. You love being able to bond as well. Because you are someone who is very, very loyal. And that is something that keeps coming up time and time again in this reading, is that you are someone who's very loyal, not only to other people, but also to yourself, which is why we have heed your dreams here. This is very much saying that, you're going to remain loyal to yourself as well. If someone's going to give you a hard time, or someone's going to act like, they're better than you, or not give you the respect that you deserve, you're going to say, okay, bye. You're not going to put up with that. And they really, really appreciate that. So going forward, we have number 20, look ahead, visionary, planning, and preparation. They see you as someone, again, who can make a really, really good decision up. You're someone who's very financially abundant. They see you as someone who's a very good planner, too. So some of you might be party planners. Some of you might also just be organizers. Some of you might be really, really well organized in your kitchens. Like, you might have those little labelers, and you label everything. That's only going to be for a select few of you, but I wanted to put that out there for you guys. Some of you kind of are into scrapbooking as well, and maybe they really thought that was so sweet that you scrapbooked all of your memories with them. They really love that you were always taking pictures, that you were always kind of in the moment, in the present moment, because so many people aren't, and they really love that about you. But they also love the fact that you could put your phone aside and not have to take pictures, not have to kind of capture every moment with a digital device, because you understand how important it is at the same time, which is why we have the polarity of night and day, and day and night rather. That's why we have that polarity, because you know how important it is to have these moments captured, but how important it is to have them captured in your own mind as well, so that you can relive them. Because most of the time when we find ourselves taking pictures of a moment, we find ourselves reliving them later and saying, wow, I almost wasn't even there. You know what I mean? Like, I was just kind of taking pictures. I wasn't even enjoying the moment because I was so focused on getting good angles and doing this. And they love that you can just put that aside and say, no, I'm going to have fun. I'm not going to have to worry about taking pictures. Do you notice how much orange energy we have here as well? Orange here and that dragon. And then both of these. Oh my goodness. So they see you as someone who's very passionate, someone who could be very sensual as well. But for the most part, they see you as someone who is very, very dedicated, very eye on the prize, very divine masculine energy as well. Now, you could be a female and also be very much in your divine masculine energy. It just means that you are very aligned with your goals. It means that you are very straightforward to the point as well. You're not going to put up with the shenanigans, I suppose you can say. You're just kind of like, nope, I'm going to achieve my goals. I'm going to achieve my dreams. And if you guys want to bring your mess over here, don't be bringing it too close to me, because I've already organized everything, right? Some of you might even be like a Virgo energy. I totally know that struggle now. I'm a Virgo sun, so. But we have 42 direction coming up last. So it says navigation, guidance, and signs. So, you're someone who is always on the travel, always on the go, or potentially you would love to be. You might be someone who would love to kind of have a home base, settle down somewhere, but then still be able to freely travel, still be able to kind of feel the wind in your hair and be able to experience new situations as well. But they see you as someone who is very abundant. They love that about you. Oh my goodness. They tell people that too. They're like, this is someone who is going to make a name for themselves. They think that you are worth your weight in gold and then some, because you are so balanced. You see all of these twos here showing up. they definitely see you as someone who has a level head, someone who is very much in harmony with yourself as well. And the reason why we have the number 9 here is because you can very much take care of yourself. You are someone who is very independent. You are someone who seeks knowledge on your own and seeks enlightenment on your own. But with togetherness, it's like you choose to be with other people. You choose to share your life with other people as well. And that's something that they really admire, because they really respect that, you can go from either being completely happy, just going towards your own goals and your own dreams, to being extremely happy with other people as well. They really, really respect that. So going on to your next 4 cards, these are going to be your Ludi Leska cards, and these are talking about what your exes miss the absolute most about you. So we have the 2 of Cups in reverse, the 6 of Swords in reverse, the Temperance card, and the Lovers in reverse. Okay, so right off the bat with the 2 of Cups in reverse, it's almost like they miss kind of how in harmony the 2 of you were, I suppose you can say. Because maybe in relationships going forward, people aren't going to have the same level of patience that you had with them. People aren't going to have that same sort of harmony as well. And they really respected that. As well with the 2 of Cups in reverse, it also makes me feel like they're going to miss the cute bickering between the 2 of you, I suppose you can say. But for others, I feel like they miss that equilibrium in a partnership. They miss being able to talk to about all of their problems as well, because we also have the 6 of Swords in reverse. They see you as someone who doesn't see missed opportunities as a missed opportunity. You see it as, well, this happened for a reason. There must have been a reason why I missed this boat. There must have been a reason, because I'm supposed to do something else. You see it as a new opportunity. And that's another thing that they miss. Oh, that's why the 2 of Cups is in reverse, because without you in their life, it's a little bit of like chaos. It's a little bit disorganized. Yes, because you were the planner. You were the organizer. You were the one who kind of kept everything together. It was almost like the glue that held the popsicle sticks all together. And now it's just sort of like you're trying to tape everything together, but it doesn't have the same effect as the glue. Like, yeah, it works almost as good, but not quite, and that's kind of something that they're realizing as they continue forward, is that, you held people together very strongly because you always believed that there was a reason for everything that went on, and you were very patient. Again, another card that indicates patience. You're very patient when it comes to a good relationship as well. You're not going to settle for something that is less than what you deserve. And that's another thing that they're really kind of regretting, is maybe that they didn't give the same amount of effort in as you did, because sometimes dog people can be very loyal to the wrong people. There's a card in my animal messages deck, and I believe the card for dog is actually saying your loyalty and faithfulness can be misplaced by serving too many masters. There it is. There she blow. I don't know why I was going to start talking like a pirate there for a second. Maybe some of you are wanting to be like a professional pirate in Key West and get like a pirate ship and then like, I don't know, do that all day, pirate around. But honestly, for the most part, there's a lot of energy of patience. There's a lot of energy of things paying off as well. But make sure that you aren't misplacing your trust, because maybe that's another thing that they see here. They regret that they didn't do more in this relationship. A lot of your exes, maybe you keep attracting in people who are less than what you deserve in order to kind of draw something in that's going to be better. So going on to the last card, we also have the Lovers in reverse. So with the Lovers in reverse, it's almost like they love that you didn't rush a relationship, especially with the Temperance card and the 2 of Cups in reverse. They loved the fact that you weren't getting into a relationship just to get into a relationship. You weren't rushing it right off the gate and saying, oh my goodness, okay, we got to get married now, because maybe they're finding in partnerships now that they're being rushed. They're being rushed. They're being manipulated. It's kind of like the situation, the relationship is turning in a way that they wouldn't necessarily have enjoyed. And it's because in the past, they miss the fact that you aren't pushing forward to have something that's inorganic. There we go. because you are very sure of yourself. You're not going to speak up unless you know what words are correct for the situation. Unlike me, I just kind of babble. But honestly, you are going to wait. You are going to think about it. And that's another thing that they really miss about you. Maybe they're finding that there aren't as many people that have the patience with coming up with things to say too. You know, and words can be very sharp sometimes. Words can hurt us more than anything in the world, right? But yeah, I definitely feel like going forward, they're finding that people aren't as willing to have a slow burn relationship as you. You know, yeah, that took a little bit of a serious turn, so we're going to continue forward, but they definitely miss how patient you were and how much harmony you brought into their lives. So going on to your next 5 cards, these are going to be your Witches Tarot cards, and this is kind of going over more on what they like about you. So we have the 6 of Wands, woohoo! You know, you're someone who is kind of like a victory, you know, they see you kind of in that victory parade that you're winning at everything, right? We also have the High Priestess, the Tower in reverse, and the Page of Wands with the Lovers again. Oh my goodness. They saw you guys as like a destined relationship because you are someone who is so compassionate, so loving, so accepting as well. You know, that I feel like everyone that's with you, it doesn't even just have to be one person in particular, but maybe they're feeling like, oh my goodness, this is someone who they've known me before. You know, you have a lot of soulmate relationships, I suppose you can say. You know, people with your past lives that are coming in, karmic relationships as well. But your exes see you as someone who is very much on the right path. You're on the right course for your life path as well. You're very dedicated. You're very determined. I know I keep saying that, but that's the energy that comes through. I feel like I could have just like put up the word dedicated and then just went on to the next pile. Just spent 20 minutes just with the word dedicated up on the screen. You guys would have been like, what the heck? But honestly, with the 6 of Wands, this is also saying that, you know, you are someone who is very victorious. You're someone who sees the best in a bad situation, but, you know, you're very smart. Oh my goodness. Like, you could have manipulated the situation into having a relationship a lot faster or into something that you wanted, but you're not going to, because what's the glory in getting something that you cheated at getting, right? It's not going to be as sweet. It's not going to be as rewarding. You're going to feel guilty about it, right? And you want a clean conscience going forward. You want something that is going to, without a doubt, be something that is made for you. You want this lover's connection, which is another thing that your exes really, really appreciated about you, was that you aren't going to settle for something that is less than that. You know your worth, and that's what the High Priestess, she knows her worth, right? Because she is very balanced. She's very mysterious, though, too. So they really love that about you. They loved how intuitive you were. Maybe some of you are kind of like mediums. Maybe some of you as well read tarot. Maybe also pendulum readers. Maybe even some of you read tea leaves. That's pretty cool. But for the most part, you're very renewing, and you know people's intentions right off the bat. Again, another card that really shows us that you are a very, very good judge of character. Oh my goodness. You trust your instinct and you trust your intuition, and it always proves you right. And I feel like the times that you haven't listened to your intuition, you've learned very fast. Well, I gotta listen to that more. And that's another thing that they really appreciated about you. Maybe some of your exes were just kind of like, wow, that was a lucky coincidence. But you're just kind of like, yeah, sure, that was totally a coincidence, Dave. Well, meanwhile, just whispering to yourself, there are no coincidences, you know, and it's that sort of an energy. But you're very, very fun-loving, and you're someone, like, again, you can make the best out of a bad situation, because the Tower can seem a little bit scary. It can seem like, oh my goodness, what's happened here? But you see it as a way to just build a better foundation, build something that's going to be a lot more firm, you know, something that you can really stand tall on, something that isn't going to be struck by lightning again, right? But also with the Page of Wands as the last card in this section, I suppose you can say, they're seeing you as someone who is very passionate, someone who is very straightforward, someone who is achieving a lot of things. You might be very, very career oriented, but I feel like for the majority of you that are picking this pile, you are probably going to be singers. Maybe you're going to be entrepreneurs, in the fact that maybe you come up with a really, really good business idea, right? Or maybe a really good appliance idea. Maybe you come up with like an automatic egg peeler. Whoa. And it can fit any sized egg up to like an emu or an ostrich egg. like, yes, invent this. But honestly, you're still beginning out. You're still someone who is constantly growing. You're still evolving. You're still changing as well. The song, Everybody's Changing and I Still Feel the Same. I don't know, for some of you that's really going to relate, but you're very warm. You're very open. Again, very, very friendly, very much love having other people around you, very good people around you as well, warm-hearted people. And we also have mountains in the background that I really want to point out, but they loved that an obstacle for you was seen as something kind of fun, I suppose you can say. You saw a challenge as something that was a good time. And they really appreciated that about you because you didn't see it as, oh my goodness, well, this is happening in my life. Maybe even I must be punished by the universe or something along those lines. You see it as, well, let's just go on to the next thing, right? And they loved that. Like maybe you had a bunch of ideas and you just kind of toss them in a hat and like your castle gets burnt down from this lightning bolt. So you reach into the hat and you pull it out and it's like professional magician. And you're like, okay, babe, I guess we're going to be professional magicians for the next 50 years. And you go on to that. Like there's always another trick under your sleeve, I suppose you can say. You always have another goal to go towards. And they really appreciated that about you. So going on to your next 5 cards, these are going to be your Glow Glow Tarot cards, and these are talking about how they describe you to others, you know, if they were talking about you to their friends and family. So we have the Ace of Cups starting us off. Woohoo! They see you as someone who is very abundant, someone who is very emotionally stable as well, emotionally grounded. You have very much taken control of your own emotions, of your own feelings too. So you can be very forthcoming with people and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I want out of a relationship. And, you know, this is what I even want 30 years from now because you are so good of a planner. They might also tell people that they want to receive messages from you or that they want to send a message to you. It might even be like, hey, I would really love to reach out to them, but I don't necessarily know how to do that. Because when I see this dove at the top, you know, this pigeon, I think, oh my goodness, this is someone who has a message. This is someone who's like, I still have words of love that I wish that I could still tell this person because you've helped them grow. And that's what they love. Maybe that's even why the Page of Wands is here, is because you made them go into this self-discovery of the Page of Wands and discover what it is that they're passionate about, what it is that they do want to pursue, right? Kind of help them to get into that intuitive nature of their own. And they tell people about that. They're like, this person is very open. This person is very trustworthy as well, very truthful, very sweet. Yeah, honestly, maybe you eat all organic foods because I keep thinking of the word organic. But honestly, they see you as someone who's very passionate, very straightforward. But with the Knight of Wands being here in the reverse, this is also saying that you don't want something that is going to not have firm foundations. You want something that is going to be very solid, right? Because you've had heartbreak in the past before. And they might even tell their friends and family like, oh, I broke this person's heart, you know, or this person has experienced a lot of heartbreak in the past. Maybe you've been through a lot of traumas. Maybe you've just been through a lot of experiences that have been very tough. For some of you, again, it might be health problems. It might be health related as well. And they tell people like, this person is very strong. This person is, very incredible as well for all that they've had to deal with throughout their lives. And they might even be saying to people, I wish that I could come forward with a message of love, but they probably wouldn't take me back because of the fact that I broke their heart, you know, because of the fact that I basically took these swords and I launched them forward. But they know that any heartbreak that you experience, whether it be from them or just from another relationship that you might have been through, they know that you are getting the lessons out of it. You're not seeing it as a heartbreak. You're seeing it as something that is going to be very vital to your growth as well and to your healing. But we also have the Knight of Swords with the Hermit. Again, you know, they might tell people that you're very independent. You're very self-sufficient. You can stand on your own 2 feet and get things done. But they might be scared that you might cut them out of your life. That's why I'm getting all tongue-tied, because they're like, I don't know what to say here. I don't know how to come come towards you. I don't know how to come forward, because I feel like if I do, you're just going to raise your sword up and be like, here we go, right? And you're just going to come towards them full force, like jousting them, right? And they're just like, please don't do this to me. So they might tell people that it's better off for them. It's easier for them to just kind of go towards this relationship and this connection alone, you know, not having to pursue it for some of your exes. But I also feel like maybe you've left a lot of people heartbroken in the past and you've moved on while they've been left behind like, I wanted something stable, what the heck? And you're just kind of like, nope, I'm going forward now. You're like, I have things to do in like Thailand, and I have things to do in Sweden, and I have things to do in Germany. Like, I can't stay here, George. And George is just like shook because it was like it's taken him so long to get to realize his feelings from you, you know, or even like Georgina. Maybe it's also Georgina. If you're, you know, so wow. I feel like maybe you're a heartbreaker. It's kind of like that Ludacris song. What is that? Tayo Cruz? I'm only gonna break your heart, right? But it's kind of like that vibe that maybe you're a heartbreaker and you don't even necessarily know. This is how to be a heartbreaker, right? Because the Knight of Swords is very straightforward. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's fine. I'm just going to continue forward and I'm just, yeah, it's okay. It's okay, George. Don't worry about it. But they see you as someone who is very self-sufficient, someone who is still kind of enlightening themselves, and someone who is still on their spiritual journey too. Woohoo! So that is a really, really, awesome section of things that they tell people about you. I mean, obviously it isn't good, you know, if you broke their heart, or if they broke yours, but I feel like there is a lot of talk about how strong you are, how straightforward and honest you are as well, that you aren't someone who is going to pull the wool over people's eyes, and they really, really appreciate that. You know, and they might, oh, look at this. Do you see how the Knight of Wands is facing the Knight of Swords? And it's like the Three of Swords is in the middle. So it's almost like, wow, this is a never-ending cycle if the two of you were together. Maybe there's one specific ex that it would just kind of be like you go around and around and around in circles. For some of you, it might even be a divine connection. Maybe for some of you, it is a twin flame, a karmic, or even just a soulmate. And maybe it's just kind of like it's going to be better off to be alone. Right? Do you think you're better off alone? Going on to your next card, this is going to be your animal totem card, and this is talking about your overall energy and how they see you. Okay, so we have the Five of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. Yeah, for some of you, you might have broken their hearts. No. But with the Five of Pentacles, I want to point out that even though it is a little bit scary looking of a card, it's a very sad card as well, very solemn, because all of these animals have passed over in order for these fur farmers to harvest their fur. But I also want to say that that is also kind of a silver lining to the situation. I suppose you can say that while these beautiful, beautiful creatures have perished, you know, have crossed over, this family, you know, is still able to provide for themselves. They'll be able to last the winter. They'll be able to still survive. It's kind of like that circle of life. That's what this is. This is the circle of life. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you've had the whole circle of life with this partnership or with this ex, you know, and maybe even with a few exes. And it's kind of hard to cut people off at times when you do have an ongoing cycle with someone because they love you, or vice versa because you love them. You know, but with the Five of Pentacles energies, there is a little bit of kind of, it feels like a tragedy, right? It feels a little bit like I was shut out in the cold. Someone was maybe ghosted. Someone maybe pulled away as well in order to go towards their own goals and their own dreams. And I think that's very admirable that you're able to do that, though. So regardless, I feel like you're a very, very wonderful person. And I feel like you're very outspoken, very honest, very truthful, and very abundant. And you're not going to spend time with people who are going to leave you out on the cold, you know? And that's kind of the energy that I'm picking up on. So going on to your last card, this is going to be your overall energy and how they see you overall. So we have number 21, the world. Woohoo! So they see you as someone who has the whole world, you know, right on your shoulders. You're someone who can be very easily stressed. You're someone who overanalyzes everything at times. Maybe they see you as someone who can be a little bit of a worrywart or can be a little bit dramatic, but for the most part, you accept change so graciously, and they look up to you so much because they know that you're someone who's going to be very abundant. You're going to have all of the things that you've ever dreamed about, and maybe it kind of brings them down, the fact that they couldn't give you this, the fact that you're going to kind of be pursuing this yourself. But yeah, that's really kind of what I'm getting as well with the world, that you're very much in harmony, not only with yourself, but also with others. And they don't ever want you to change that aspect of yourself. They want you to remember this carefree attitude, to remember to continue to have fun and to continue to be lighthearted as well, because they see you as someone who is absolutely brilliant, right? They see you as someone who they would love to spend every day with, but something happened along the lines. You know, maybe it was just one of you wasn't ready, maybe both of you weren't ready, maybe you guys still have a lot of growing up to do, because we have a lot of nights and a lot of pages in this reading. So it's kind of like there's not enough mature energy to be able to continue forward. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this stack too. Oh my goodness, this was such an awesome read. I hope that you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. You guys are very balanced. Keep doing you, keep going towards your goals, but just remember to allow yourself to relax and allow yourself to get some naps in, right? So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this. Definitely let me know down below if it resonated, and leave a like if you enjoyed it. And yeah, hit subscribe if you have not already, and also the little bell icon so you can be notified every time that I upload a video. All of my links are in my description box down below as well, for my Etsy, my Patreon, and my PayPal. And yeah, I hope that you are doing amazing, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye! Hello to everyone who picked stack 3. Let's get right into your reading and see what do your exes think of you. So starting off with your first 2 cards, these are going to be your Druid Animal Oracle cards, and these are kind of going over what sort of energies your exes see you as overall. So we have Adder and Stag. Woohoo! So these are 2 really awesome cards. You were actually the only deck that received 2 cards. They flew out together and I was like, okay, I will take them. But they are really awesome cards that go together so beautifully as well, because they are so powerful, very intelligent, very wise animals that you have as well. I feel like with Stag energy, we're going to start off there first. I feel like some of you that picked this pile, you're a little bit stubborn, but it's because you have seen a lot of change in your life. You're someone who accepts change very graciously, but you're someone who maybe you really like to be in that leadership position. You like to kind of have control over a situation, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? This is very much you being in that analytical side of your mind, as opposed to more of the sensitive side, I suppose you can say. Not saying that you aren't sensitive, because Adder is very sensitive. You know, with this snake energy, this is very much saying, I am someone who has transformed my life over and over again. I am someone who is very majestic, very wise. I have a lot of wisdom from all of the lessons that I've been through in my life, and that's why I'm unwavering. Because that's what I feel like is kind of the energy that I have here. You were the person who was making all of the plans, maybe kind of taking the bull by the horns and saying, hey, this is where we should probably live. This is what we should be doing. You know, maybe this is how our life should be laid out. And your exes really enjoyed just how good you were at making plans, I suppose you can say. But for others of you, they really enjoyed how renewing you were as well. Because with the snake, kind of a totem, I suppose you can say, they are constantly shedding their skin in order to not feel like they're wearing a really tight glove all the time, right? Because when we keep ourselves in a situation for far too long and we find ourselves outgrowing it, you know, we can feel really uncomfortable. We can feel very confined, very trapped. And that's what they loved about you, was the fact that you weren't keeping yourself confined. You weren't constantly keeping yourself trapped. And that even goes for relationships. Maybe in the past, there were some relationships that you yourself were just kind of like, I'm out, you know, and you just kind of walked your stag energy away. You staggered away. Good one. But honestly, you are someone who is always greeting the new day. You're having so much fun as well, because that's your energy. You want to be able to look at things very seriously, but also be able to have that kind of optimistic energy about you as well. What I do want to say too is that your exes really saw you as someone who was very majestic, someone who was very magical as well. Maybe they saw you as someone who was very spiritual, someone who gave them a lot of hope, someone who was very renewing. Because when I see adder, I think of someone who has kind of that healing energy to them. Maybe you're someone who is a little bit of, maybe you're a healer, maybe you work with Reiki. Sorry, my camera was just freaking out for a second there. I'm not sure what happened. But honestly, I really feel like you guys are so gifted that pick this third pile as well. You're very artistic. You're very expressive, just even in your words. And maybe some of you do poetry. Maybe you write song lyrics. Maybe some of you are really good dancers as well. But you just have really, really good rhythm, not only with yourself, but with the earth around you. You're someone who can go out into nature and not feel bored. You can put down your phone, your social media, and everything, and just let everything be. And those are some of the most calm moments for you, is when you're not having to constantly work or constantly having to do something. Because with this adder energy, I know that this isn't necessarily how this card is supposed to be interpreted, but I feel like even when there is chaotic energy going on, even when there is something that's kind of bringing on an entanglement, I suppose you can say, you easily adapt. You know, you are someone who is going to easily say, all right, this is fine. I've learned all the cheat codes. I can go from here, right? And that's what they really loved about you, was the fact that you could adapt. You could go through any kind of tough situation and learn how to make the best out of a really bad situation. You could make the best out of any bad situation, honestly. And that's what they absolutely adored about you. And you always saw every opportunity as a chance to start over. And they really love that you're not someone who is going to keep themselves stagnant or keep yourself kind of hung up on the past as well. But in that as well, I want to say that you're someone who's very balanced. You're very balanced in both your masculine side and your feminine. You aren't relying on one more than the other, although for some of you that pick this pile, I feel like you might rely on your masculine a little bit more, just because you are very much a go-getter. You're very dedicated. You're very much like, yes, pedal to the metal, let's do this. And that is so awesome. That's a wonderful energy to be in. But make sure that you're remaining in equilibrium with yourself. Make sure that you are remaining balanced as well. So going on to your next two cards, these are going to be your messenger oracle cards, and these are talking about how they feel about you and kind of what they think about you overall. So we have number 21, know your power, which actually the number 21 would be 3, and this is talking about being in harmony with yourself, which is very much this sort of adder energy, right? And not only that, but very fiery, passionate energy, dedicated energy, masculine energy. But we also have number 3 again. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Oh my goodness. Okay, so honestly, 3 is a very, very popular number here. So that's already right off the bat, that's awesome. That's very much saying that you are in harmony with yourself and also in harmony with other people. Woohoo! You are someone who remains very vigilant to your dreams, to your goals, and also to your relationships, because you're very loyal, you're very trustworthy. But I also want to say that in relationships, you know, and also just in platonic partnerships and platonic friendships, you know your power there as well. You know your worth, but you also know that your words can hurt someone, right? So you try not to step on toes, even though you are this really powerful being, even though you're someone who could cause a lot of damage, because look, we not only have this fire horse, but we also have a dragon, right? And these are very, very powerful creatures, very fiery, very passionate. Some of you might be fire signs. Some of you might just have a lot of fire in your chart as well. Very upbeat, kind of in your face energy at times, which you are wonderful for achieving goals. Woohoo! A lot of abundance, a lot of success as well. They see you as someone who's very successful, someone who's cut out for more. Kind of like, you know how in Beauty and Beast, she's like, there must be more than this provincial life. Like, that's you. That's how they feel about you, is that you are cut out for so much more than just the normal 9 to 5 or, you know, what everyone else would consider normal. And maybe they couldn't necessarily live up to that, some of your exes, and they really felt scared by that. Maybe some of them were also put off by the fact that you knew exactly what you wanted and you weren't going to waver on that. And that kind of intimidated them, because maybe they didn't even necessarily know what they wanted out of life, what they wanted out of a partnership, maybe even career, right? But you're someone who has it all decided, all figured out. You are someone who is incredibly intelligent, and they really respect that. You are someone who really inspired them, someone who really kind of put them on course, on track as well. It was almost like your fire lit a fire underneath your exes. And if they didn't move from it, it burned them, right? It was kind of like they could either sit on the fire, and allow themselves to get burned, or they can continue to get up and walk away from the fire, cool off, and go towards their goals, go towards their dreams. But that's kind of the make it or break it with your exes as well. Like, I don't want to be so blunt, but I feel like sometimes it was you didn't pressure them. It was just that they felt pressure because they were having to finally look and take a reflection at what it was that they wanted to achieve and what it was that they had to go towards, what all they had to heal as well. Because you are someone who already did their healing. You are someone who did that many moons ago with that stag energy, right? You've dealt with your shadow work. You've dealt with almost your inner demons, I suppose you can say. You've renewed yourself, and you're remaining vigilant about it. You aren't going to allow yourself to slip back into that energy. You aren't going to allow yourself to slip into not knowing your worth, because you know your power, right? So that's really awesome. They see you as someone who's very powerful, very self-sufficient, very straightforward as well. So going on to your next 3 cards, these are going to be your Secrets of the Mystic Grove cards. And this is talking about what sort of energy they loved about you the absolute most. So we have number 12, Celebrate Mystery. Are you kidding me? Another 3. You guys, some of you might even have been born maybe on the 3rd day of a month. Maybe you guys were even born on like a 12th, or maybe they were. Maybe you guys met on the 3rd of a month. I don't know. But first off, we have Celebrate Mystery, followed by number 28, Conflict, and number 17, Repose. Okay, so these are really awesome cards. Even the Conflict card is really wonderful, and I'll tell you why in a second. So starting off with Celebrate Mystery, it says trust the journey, unexpected, and secrets. So that's very much the energy that they had for you, was that, or that they loved about you, was that you were constantly on the move. You were constantly seeking out what you're passionate about, what you thought was very intriguing as well. You're someone who, your interest gets piqued very, very easily. There we go. I was trying to think of the right words, but I don't want to say that your attention span kind of goes around all the place, because I don't feel like it's that energy at all, but I feel like you're very good at multitasking. There we go. So you're kind of the type of person who is going to be experiencing new things while also doing a side business on the side, and doing all of this, and maybe also owning a pickle factory, and also having a dove farm, and you're doing all of this, and they're just looking at you while they're, maybe they had a regular 9-to-5 job, they were writing newspaper columns or something, and they look at you and you're doing all of these adventurous things, or you have all these plans that are kind of lined up and lined out for your life, even if they're a little bit extravagant, or sometimes if people might look at you and kind of roll their eyes and be like, yeah, sure, sure, Jan. But honestly, you're someone who is always looking forward to the future, always looking forward to the next journey and to the next big experience, right? You love the unexpected. You love things that are going to be absolutely spontaneous. And I think those that pick this pile, not necessarily that you like gossip, but I think that you really love a good mystery, right? You kind of love learning about all the different tea that's going on. Some of you might kind of be air sign, maybe even kind of a Gemini qualities going on. I see you guys. I'm a Gemini moon. I see you. But honestly, you guys are a lot of fun, and that's why they love having you around, because you offer such a different perspective to everyone around you, because you are very, some of you are well-traveled, but some of you just really love to study. So going on to the next card with number 28, Conflict, it says discord, disagreement, and common ground. Now that's why this card is so wonderful, because even if there was conflict, if there was disagreements, maybe there were even hardships between people, you were very forthcoming. You were someone who is going to be like, hey, it's all water under the bridge now. Don't worry about it. Maybe you're not the type of person who's just going to trust blindly, but you're definitely going to give people the benefit of the doubt, especially if they've had a really hard day or a really hard week. Now, that doesn't excuse people for being absolutely rude to you or cruel, but I really feel like you know where that fine line is, because you not only know your power, but you know other people's powers as well. You know what it is that they mean and what it is that they might just be saying to kind of get you to leave them alone, right? And maybe that's kind of why we have this energy here, is that you are someone who is very strong because you have had to deal with these kind of conflicts in the past, but you've always found common ground, or you've always kind of continued forward, not necessarily worrying about it. And they really love that about you. It's, again, that energy of being able to function in a really, really tough situation, being able to find balance, being able to find that common ground, right? You're someone who would be probably a really good politician, something along those lines, someone who has a very, very wonderful way of words, and someone who maybe even would be a really good governor. Maybe you would want to, top of the evening, governor. Maybe you would want to do that, right? I don't know. But honestly, with the number 10 here, they saw you as someone who would want to bring things full circle. There we go. You would not want to leave any kind of loose ends. You'd want to make sure everything is tied up. So going on to the last card here, we have number 17, repose. It says pause, respite, and time out. So this is a really, really awesome card as well, because this is saying that you took the time for yourself, not only with knowing your worth. This is saying, hey, you know, I know when I'm feeling a little bit tired. I know when I have to have that rest for myself, especially when you're going through change, when you're going through these big moments of transformation as well. You know that it's vital for yourself to be getting enough sleep, to be getting enough water, enough food, enough oxygen even. Make sure that you're taking those deep breaths in and releasing them as well. Let's do it together. Yes. But honestly, we have the number 8 here. So that again is talking about very straightforward energy, very dedicated as well. 8 is very much kind of horse energy. I don't know why. I just want to throw that out there, that when I see the number 8, I think of horses, because they're very straightforward. You're almost towards the end of your goal. You are so close. You still have so much farther to run as well. So make sure that you're taking time for yourself before you get to kind of the end of your goals as well, and the end of your achievements. So going on to your next 4 cards, these are going to be your Ludi Laska cards, and these are talking about what your exes miss the most about you. So we have the High Priestess, the 2 of Wands, the Ace of Wands in reverse, and the 5 of Swords. Okay, so right off the bat, they missed how intuitive you were. You were someone who, not only you were very comfortable in your own skin, you were someone who feels very good about yourself, but you were also someone who could kind of connect to them on a different wavelength as opposed to everyone else. There we go. It was like you could look at them and immediately know what they were thinking, immediately know what they wanted to tell you as well. And they really appreciated that. But they also saw, do you see this little flower at the bottom? They saw how much hardship you've had to go through in the past. They've seen what all you've had to go through in order to gain this sort of knowledge, this wisdom, and this growth as well. And they really, really miss that about you, that you're someone who's always trying to find that balance within yourself and find that balance within relationships too. See how she's wearing this white dress as she's rising from the water? It's very much saying that you have had the power to renew yourself time and time again, where this person, or maybe even like your exes in general, have had a really hard time trying to transform themselves, trying to take the bull by the horns or the stag by the horns and say, hey, I'm making a change here, right? For some people, it's not that easy, but for you, you're someone who's a very good decision maker. That's why we have the 2 of Wands here. It's very much saying you are in your balance, you are in your equilibrium, and you know what it is that you want. You've analyzed it, you've written everything down. It's almost like for some of you, you had vision boards. Maybe for some of you, you were working with the law of attraction, and that's why they were saying, hey, you're cut out for something really, really good, because you're going to bring it in. You're manifesting that. Even if they don't necessarily know what that is, you know, they know that you're working on something. They know that you're very spiritual. They know that you're someone who is very enlightened as well. Also someone who's very mysterious. They miss how mysterious you are. And I'm just going to throw this out there because I feel like it's a little strange, but for some of you, they miss that their current partners aren't as mysterious. You know, they kind of just let on. They're like, yeah, I ate a burrito this morning for breakfast, and then this morning for lunch I had a grilled cheese, and then I drank a Slurpee, and then that was that, and then I took a nap. And you're just the type of person who's just kind of like, yeah, I had a great day today. Yeah, no, my breakfast was great. Don't worry about it. You know, and they're just kind of like, well, what kind of breakfast, right? So then there would be a little bit of a conversation there. There'd be a little bit of a back and forth. Whereas with their current partners, it's just kind of like there isn't that mystery there. There isn't that sort of like aloofness, I suppose you can say. But going forward as well, we also have the Ace of Wands in reverse and the Five of Swords. Now, here's the deal. You know, in this deck, the Five of Swords is very much talking about you can have all of the swords in the world, but you have to be willing to use it. You have to be willing to strike out on your own and kind of take away the fear of what could happen if you do use it. Because do you see how he's just sort of crouching here? He has all of them, but what's the point if he doesn't know how to use them, right? And that's the energy that they loved about you, was that you were someone who would wait until the time was right. You were someone who would go into this energy. That's kind of like the repose energy, right? Where it's like, I'm going to take this time for myself. I'm going to take a little bit of a break and regroup, reanalyze about where it is that I want to go forward from here. Because that's why the Ace of Wands is in reverse. This is very much saying I'm putting my passions and my dreams and my goals on the back burner for now, or I'm putting it on pause is a better way of saying it. Yes. In order to realign with myself, in order to have that self-care and self-love time that I very desperately need. And you're someone who doesn't see it as a loss of time. You see it as an investment. You see it as I'm going to take a break and I'm going to come back even better than before. It's kind of like an NFL player who's like constantly playing football, and then they're going to get tired and they're just going to fall asleep on the field, right? So you need to be able to take those breaks, because when you're feeling well rested, when you're feeling like you had a good meal, you can go out, you can do even better than before, even after you've been practicing and practicing and practicing. So make sure that you are resting yourself, right? So going on to your next 5 cards, these are going to be your Witch's Tarot cards, and this is going to be going over more on what your exes really loved about you. So we have the 7 of Cups in reverse, the 10 of Wands, the 6 of Pentacles, the Hermit in reverse, and then the Fool card. Woohoo! So these are really awesome cards. Oh my goodness. You know, the 7 of Cups in reverse right off the bat is saying that you are someone who is a very good decision maker. I know that we were already kind of touching on that with the 2 of Wands, but this again is saying that you have no confusion or doubt when it comes to making decisions for yourself, and also with helping other people with making decisions too. You were a very, very good decision maker for other people. So maybe your exes could always come to you with their hardships, with their problems, and you'd be kind of the person that would shoulder that for them. You were kind of the person who would take on other people's loads as well, and you'd be like, it's fine, I have a still a little bit of shoulder room left. I can just add like 5 more wands. It's okay, Harold, you can put them there, don't worry about it, you know. And then when Harold leaves, you're just like, oh my gosh, wow, Harold gave me 5 wands. But honestly, it's a labor of love, you looking out for the people that you really care about, and they really respected that about you. They really appreciate that as well. You know, but at times you could kind of run yourself ragged, which is why you need to take that time to kind of take a rest, take a break. Remember what it is that you want to go towards as well. Regroup yourself. Because with the 6 of Pentacles, this is abundance. This is financial abundance as well. Maybe you're someone who would also reach out with money as well to your exes, and whenever they needed it, and be like, here's this kind of money if you needed it for anything, if you wanted to get a nice snack or anything along those lines. But you would always help out whenever anyone would need it. You would give someone the shirt off of your back, and they love that about you. Oh my goodness, how caring you are, how dedicated. But at the same time, with the Hermit in reverse, it's almost like while you are seen as someone who is very self-reliant, while you are seen as someone who is very independent as well, the Hermit in reverse is saying, I'd rather have people around me. I want people surrounding me on this journey. You know, I want people that are going to experience the ups and downs with me as well. And they saw you as someone who was very sentimental. They saw you as someone who, once you got to know them, you know, you're not only very enlightened, but you're someone who very much, it matters what other people think about you. It matters what other people are going to say. or not even necessarily say, but you want people in your life. You want people on your journey that are going to help you out, just as you help them out, right? You want that sort of, those friendships based on reciprocity. But we also have the Fool card. Woohoo! So this is talking about they loved how adventurous you were. They loved that you could kind of drop everything. Remember we were talking about renewals and new beginnings with Stag as well? This is the Fool card all around. You see how he has a companion as well? The Hermit card doesn't. And that's why you are more of the Fool card as opposed to the Hermit card, right? Because you are someone who loves to have maybe just another person there with you, maybe even an animal friend. Maybe you are someone who absolutely adores animals, right? And they really appreciated that about you. They really respected that too. Some of you might be veterinarians or might be studying to be, but you're someone who is very passionate, very excitable as well. You have that kind of childlike wonder to you, especially when you're going on new journeys, new adventures. You might be the type of partner as well who would be like, hey, let's go on a road trip tonight, you know, and they'd be like, what? And you're just like, yep, beep, beep, we're getting in the car, we're going to Disneyland, let's go. And they're just kind of like, what? You are a lot of fun. You're very, very spontaneous, and they absolutely love that about you. So going on to your next few cards, these are going to be your Glow Glow Tarot cards, and these are talking about how they would describe you to others. Oh my goodness. So we have the High Priestess again starting us off. Oh my goodness. So they definitely see you as someone who's very mysterious, someone who definitely doesn't let on everything that you know. You're someone who's very wise, someone who's very balanced as well in your Divine Masculine and your Divine Feminine too. Very abundant, very balanced. You know what people's intentions are as well before they even have to speak to you. You just kind of look into their eyes and you're like, all right, you know, I know what's going on here, but you're still very warm, even though you are very mysterious. You're very nurturing, you're very caring, but a lot of people can feel a little bit intimidated by you. We also have the Eight of Swords, so they might also tell people that you're a little bit too hard on yourself, that you might push yourself a little bit too far at times, or maybe you're just kind of like always going to the next level, and they're just kind of like, it's okay to take that time for yourself. But with the Eight of Swords as well, with that energy of being too hard on yourself, this is also that energy of feeling like, hey, I deserve this bad thing to happen to me because I did this or I did that, or, you know, I'm so dank because I said this when I should have said that. You know, maybe I said that I didn't like David Hasselhoff to him when I actually love David Hasselhoff, and now I'm living a lie in this relationship, right? And that's the sort of energy that we have here. But honestly, you can always start over. You can always start anew because we have the Ace of Pentacles too. They tell people that you are someone who, even though you struggle a little bit, maybe with your kind of like the own confines of your mind. There we go. You are someone who is very abundant. You are someone who's very successful, very fortunate as well, very lucky. Yeah, they see you as someone who is a provider as well. Someone who definitely isn't taking the time for themselves, though. I can tell you that right now. The Four of Swords in reverse is talking about coming out of a time of healing, coming out of a time of resting and relaxing. So again, they tell people that you need to take a break. You need to take time for yourself because you're constantly on the move. You're constantly traveling. And remember how I was just talking about leveling up? That's why we have the Page of Swords here, because the Page of Swords is very straightforward. He's going to cut out any drama, any negativity out of his life as well. But he's also someone who is just starting out on his journey, who is just starting out on his adventure as well. So it might be that, you know, maybe some of you were very straightforward with your exes in the past. Maybe some of you kind of broke up through text messages. That's only going to apply to a select few of you. But I really feel like you guys were very good communicators. You guys were very good at keeping up communication between you and your exes. But honestly, you had your own goals. You had your own passions and ideas to go towards as well. And it's like you want someone who's going to be on the same page as you. Maybe someone doesn't want to live in Japan for the next 5 years, but you do. And you want to go to host clubs, you know, like honestly. So you're going to find someone who wants to do that as well, which is why we have the Two of Wands again. This is them saying basically you are a good decision maker, but you also have the world in your hands. They see you as someone who can achieve anything that you put your mind to, right? They see you as someone who has put the work in, someone who has bettered themselves, someone who has learned a whole lot in their lifetime. They really, really admire you and really look up to you as well. They really, really respect you too. which I think is so awesome. Again, another 2. So you're very balanced. Oh my goodness. So going on to your last card, this is going to be your animal totem card. And this is talking about your overall energy, you know, how they see you again, in closing, just overall what they might tell people about you as well. So we have the star card, and this is actually one of my favorite cards in this deck because we have the beautiful oyster with her little pearl, you know, and pearls, the way that they're formed is from an infection. You know, it's kind of like something bad, something that's irritating, something that's uncomfortable for the oyster that's pushing it around. It's pushing it and pushing it. Push it. Sorry. I had to add that in, but it was too good of an opportunity. But honestly, with the star card, it's really saying that you make the best out of a bad situation. You're someone who is always looking on the bright side of life. You're always kind of looking for the silver lining, I suppose you can say. And that's why they see you as someone who is really going to go far. They see you as someone who is a beacon of hope, someone who is kind of like a shimmering light in the distance in a dark dungeon, I suppose you can say. But they absolutely adore your energy, and they see you as someone who they very, very much respect and they very much appreciate for coming into their lives as well. Because do you see all these other oysters here? Some of them are almost open. Some of them are still very, very tightly closed up as well. I think that you helped your exes really open up and become their own person. You know, you really inspired them. You really pushed them to be something better than they could have ever imagined as well. And I think that is so admirable. You know, if they could, I think that they would thank you. They would say, thank you for giving me that push. Thank you for lighting that fire under me. Thank you for making me realize what it was that I wanted to achieve and what it was that I wanted to go towards. Because regardless, they see you as a phenomenal person, right? They see you as someone who is just so hopeful and so renewing, because that's what the star card overall is talking about as well. It's talking about that you are someone who brings hope to a lot of people. You are an inspiration, my friend, right? So going on to your last card, this is going to be their overall energy towards you as well. So we have, oh my goodness, again, number 17, the star. Are you kidding me? Look at that. So they definitely have a lot of hope, you know, especially when it comes to a relationship with you, you know, because, and I don't want to say like in terms of that, because I feel like a lot of your exes are just kind of like, wow, I wish that they'd give me another chance, you know, in the future when they have kind of become a little bit more developed themselves, because it's almost like they don't feel mature enough, and they definitely don't see you as someone who is mature enough to settle down yet, because you have all these goals and accomplishments that you want to do. And it's almost like they know that you're not necessarily going to be happy with them until you achieve these goals, until you achieve these outcomes, and achieve your dreams as well. So that's really, really admirable. Oh my goodness. So you guys should feel really, really excited. Woohoo! You know, because this is a really, really amazing pile, especially with it being number 8. If we were to add that up, they see you as someone who is very dedicated, very loyal, very generous as well. Someone who is very, very close to being at the end of their cycle. Someone who just has a little bit more work to do, right? But we all have work to do. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this stack 3. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if you did. Let me know if this resonated, and also leave a like if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button if you have not already, and also the little bell icon next to my subscribe thingy. And that will tell you every time that I upload a new video. Also, all my links are in my description box down below, such as my Etsy for kind of personal readings, and also my Patreon and my PayPal. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!